Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're going to be checking out the Friedrich der Grosse, aka Friedrich der Grobe. Celiacs, we're going all in on the secondaries, why not? Sure. Uh, Not maxed yet. Obviously, you can see we don't have any mods on the ship yet, so we'll be getting more HP, better maneuverability. The guns get a boost in terms of damage, fire starting chance, range, the whole shebang. So, that's kind of my plan for these tier 8s. We'll take a look at them stock or lightly upgraded, and then we'll revisit them in a couple weeks when they're all upgraded and up and going here. So Friedrich here, this will be kind of a demonstration of what we can get done with the secondary build on this thing. And here we are. What is this? Greece domination mode, yes. And here we are in the middle spawn. Now, if you see me stream when we're covering this map, or probably talk about it in some past videos, I usually don't like putting destroyers on B in terms of capturing bases. I'm 9 times out of 10 an advocate of playing where you spawn and everything like that. But destroyers here on this map, spotting is, extremely valuable. And when you're sitting on B, kind of behind this big island for the first part of the game, you're not really spotting, and it's very easy to contest the base, right? Both sides can put one ship on B and prevent them from capturing it. So it's kind of a wasted thing for a destroyer to do. Battleship, on the other hand, it's not a bad idea. Now, what we're going to have to watch for when we do this is suicide rush torps. Okay, now we do have a Pablo on the enemy team, and those of you that know anything about the Pablo know that it lives to nuke battleships close range. Okay, so we got to figure out where he is, and if he's going to be over here on B, which it turns out that he is, then we're going to have to be pretty careful. All right, so we're trying to squeeze some shots down there. Look like they mostly got blocked, but that's all right. I want to get right up to this island. We do have a 6-kilometer range sonar on this puppy. Okay, and that's going to come in handy here. Once we move into this cap, we're going to go ahead and fire that up. And note our team's position on D. We got 2 cruisers and a destroyer over there, I believe. And I'm hoping that they're paying attention and they're going to be having some shots. There's the sonar here, and we already got the Pablo spotted. Oh no, if he decides he wants to wreck us, he can kind of wreck us. He pops that smoke, rushes us, hits us with nasty torps that are impossible to dodge point blank range, and it's lights out, right? That's what I would do if I was him, if I thought I was clear back here. Now he's got to be cognizant of the fact that there's multiple ships that could potentially support me relatively close range. We do see some torpedoes launched there. I'm not sure what that was. He might have had a hunch I was coming around the bend or something, but kind of a wasted shot there. So we're just holding them in this sonar range as long as we can and hoping that our team will shoot him, and they're doing a good job. You can see his health is down about half there, and that's all we can really hope for, right? It's kind of like the radar. Sometimes we can use a radar where we don't have a shot ourselves, but hopefully the team will respond to it. So they're doing a pretty good job here. I would like to see him eliminated, but I believe he'll be whisked away soon here. So you can see, like, we're not taking shots here. We're not really doing any damage. This is what I'm talking about. If you have a destroyer playing here, which is very common, usually they'll do that, then it's just a waste of a valuable spot, right? The guys, luckily on our team, they went over to A, and then the destroyer over there, he's starting to sniff their home cap, C. And we're going to go and try and encourage him as well. We'll ping the cap and get him on the same page. But that's a valuable thing. Anytime we can flip the cap that they start with, that's like a double whammy, right? Because currently it's generating income. That goes away. And on top of that, it starts generating income for us. So it's a major, major play if you can ever swing those caps that they start with. And, basically Red's allowing them to do that by just clumping up in the middle of the map here, which is not going to do much for anything. So we're still pulling back here, seeing what we can get accomplished. I'm hoping to catch the Pablo just sitting here, but we're going to have to be very careful. We do have the secondary consumable. We can go ahead and rip that as soon as the destroyer is spotted. Tried to sneak a shot over the island there, and the Vanguard didn't work. On here he is. He's coming around here, and he's got blood in his eyes. We go ahead and target him, select him. Not like they're going to shoot anyone else anyways, but we want to make sure. And then we use the secondary consumable. He's deployed the smoke here now. He's going to run into a little bit of a problem right at the end of the run, depending on how close he wants to get, because he won't be able to see me. Usually, previous to this update, you would expect the battleships to proxy spot you at 3 kilometers. but that's no longer the case necessarily. We give them a vicious shot there with the main guns. Don't quite take them out, but the team chimes in, and we're turning. Come on. Oh, boy, we got 2 nasty Pablo torps, about half our health, no doubt. But we do live to continue and fight another day, so that's pretty good. And that's always the risk if, you know, if the suicide strike doesn't work, well, you're out of the game. So getting rid of the Pablo early, that's a load off of our mines for sure. So we got A, we got C, we got D. B still stalemated, but no big deal there as long as red doesn't start earning anything off of that. That's fine with us. But we're trying to move in here and see what we can get. We got Weimar over here. We just captured A, and now they're taking it back. So we can assume that the other DD's over there. Wish the team would be a little bit more aggressive over there. If you're wondering what the heck that backline Betty is, I think it's a Champagne. So I think he's actually supposed to be that far back, if I recall. Anyway, we're moving forward here, and we got to be careful because we are showing broadside to the north. They're basically perfectly flat to these guys. If they're starting to sneak some shots here, and once the secondaries go off, I'm like, okay, might be in a little bit of trouble here because the main can hit us. And this is, especially this left-hand side of the island here, or the right-hand side if you're on the north, there's this low little gap here. You do have to be very careful when you're playing this position because shots can get through there, and especially if you're in a cruiser or something fragile, you can get taken out pretty quickly there. So secondary is going off a little bit there. Brandenburg coming around. Now what's the scoop with them? He's got torpedoes, secondary brawler type of a ship, so I don't want him getting too close to me. But look at this. The destroyer is already anticipating his attack, and he's deployed defensive torpedoes there, and it looks like they're looking pretty good to me. We'll see if he gets a hit or not. Oh, yeah. Looks like he's dead. All right, perfect. So that kept us safe from that torpedo threat. We'll give him a wood up for that. And game situation, okay, we're tied in ships. Caps, a moment ago we were dominating the game. They are reclaiming territory. But what we want to keep in mind here is they have several low hell ships, like the main, for instance, and I think there's 1 or 2 others that are kind of low. So when we're evaluating these games, especially as we get later in the game, trying to figure out, okay, what do we got to do to win? We want to be checking the health as well. Trying to go ahead and see if we can squeeze a shot off there, but it looks like the team will be whittling them down. Here's another Vanguard. He's the other low one that I'm thinking of. Now he's the one that's contesting C, right? And if the destroyer gets killed or gets driven off the cap, then he could potentially actually capture the base, returning it back to them, kind of restoring equilibrium in the scoring by making it 2-2 in the cap. So it's an important play here to get him off, if possible, or at least whittle him down so that he's not quite as brave when it comes to making these sorts of plays. Get the resets there. Would be nice for the cruiser to be resetting them, but whatever. As long as the destroyer was on the base, it wasn't a danger of flipping it. But the destroyer now decides to get off. So we got to be careful here. That looks like some ships might be able to get some shots on us. That's fine. But I do not want this Vanguard to capture the base. I'm just going to kind of hold tight here, hope that he gets spotted. Tried to fire the shot, hoping those left 2 guns, the turrets on the front of the ship, might have gotten around. I don't think they're going to, though. So a little bit of a wasted shot there, but I did want to try and reset him if possible. Like I say, having B, C, D, the scoring triangle, is very powerful in this map. Here's the Fletcher. All right, he's within secondary range. We're going to go ahead and get all of them in firing position. And kind of holding on to the consumable here because I'm seeing he's going to be behind this island soon. I don't want to waste it because this is a very powerful attack. That consumable, especially when you spec for it with the commander build, which we do, it enhances the duration, I think, and the accuracy or whatever else. I can't remember exactly what it does, but it's very strong, okay? It's kind of underrated by people who don't really dive all the way in on it. I get it. People want their heals. It's very hard to give those up, but if we are playing secondary builds, then we do it on the Friedrich, the Grosse, Bismarck, ships of that nature, Brandenburg. We're going to go all the way in, okay? So preserving that secondary consumable as long as possible. Hoping he's going to continue to rush us here. We got to start thinking about, okay, he's got some torps in the water. What are we going to do about that? Well, we don't want to eat a bunch of torps here. The problem I got is the other Friedrich to the north of me. We're getting hit by his secondaries, and he potentially has shots on us. So if I'm dodging these torps, we might flash some broadside to the Friedrich, and then he could punch us for the remaining 30 grand in terms of HP that we got. So that could be problematic for sure, and it's we're kind of in a bit of a bind here with the position. So not much I can do. I'm going to try and get this thing into the gap in between these two torpedoes. Man, these puppies are slow here. What are these? I don't know if that's a black or what ship we're fighting. But slow American torps regardless. Alright, so we're forced to use the damage con there. And now we got to be conscious. Well, we got cruisers hitting us with HE, and then this Friedrich when he comes around the corner as well. So I'm going to try and hit the gas here. Prevent him and his secondaries from getting onto me as long as possible, right? We want to get as deep into this damage control as possible. Anticipating getting set on fire by these guys. And not much we can do about it until that consumables back from cooldown. So, Friedrich coming around here, we're going to go ahead and get the secondaries warmed up on him. And since we never had the chance to use the consumable on the destroyer, we'll go ahead and use it on him here. And if you know, I'm not doing it now, but if you like really zoom in and see the difference between these spreads where before that consumable is active and after, the groupings always really tighten up. Like your actually goes way up. You can see the hits piling up here. Some of them doing damage, some of them potentially causing fires. That's problematic for him. Baltimore, we don't want to be too focused, right? We're assuming we're going to die here in the near future, but what can we do? What's going to have the best impact for our team? Hitting the Baltimore for a juicy citadel is going to be something we want to do, right? In this instance here, we're trying to set up the game for our teammates to win, right? Because I cannot stay alive for very long. 1 or 2 main gun hits to the superstructure with some fire support from the secondaries. I'm off the board, right? So just a matter of time. We go ahead and force to use the damage con early there, just to minimize the damage, with the understanding that the next fire will probably be fatal. So trying to knock his guns out there, and we do get 1, right? I'm trying to do as much damage as I can do to him before we go down, right? We're still assuming we're going to die, but if we're getting away from his secondaries, he might not have as good of a secondary build as we do. And if we're knocking out those guns, you can see he's not able to heal it because his ship's still on fire. Well, then that's going to really preserve us for a little bit longer, right? And the longer we're alive, the more damage we can get. And the slower their advances, right? They have things they need to do. They need to start flipping caps and basically kill all these ships. And the longer they're dealing with us, the harder it is for them to accomplish those goals. So we do wind up going down there. 116,000, only 26 main gun hits. So not a lot of the main gun, but most of that damage was from the secondaries and the resulting fires. So I figured you guys would be interested in seeing, okay, what's the secondary build look like on the Friedrich der Grosse, and that's pretty much it. I'd say it's pretty effective. It's probably not the king of secondary builds, but it's certainly a contender at least. So here they are piling on the Fletcher. The team will, I'm going to trim the game a couple minutes early here, but they do manage to hold on. Basically, playing a little fast and loose, but the destroyer to the south of sea, he understands, okay, all I got to do is stay alive. Even if they sink 2 more ships, even if they flip a couple caps, we got a huge lead built into the background because we had a 3-1 cap advantage for most of the game, and all you got to do is stay alive. So these other guys, they're running around shooting. We don't have to sink these ships. None of them matter. Okay, all you got to do is stay alive for 2 minutes. So we'll trim it there. That's going to do it for that one, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming for you all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. Love to hear from you. And we'll see y'all later. Peace.